Hello and welcome to the Built in the Bronx podcast. I am your host, Maximilian Hill, and today we are very excited to have a wonderful guest. Carlos Mavins Jr. is a university recruiter who's worked in the software development and tech field. He is a graduate of Tennessee State University, and he's the founder and executive director of Bridge to Leadership, an organization that helps college students make the transition from school to work. Carlos, thank you for coming on the podcast. How are you today?
Hey, let's go.
I love the energy, man. I love the energy.
Hey man, I'm great to be here. Glad to be here. Max, thanks for reaching out. I'm super excited.
Wonderful. It's been a couple months. Been trying to get. We found you on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
We were very impressed with the following that you've built and the work that you've done as a university recruiter, but also at your work with Bridge to Leadership. So why don't you start off? Tell us a little bit about your work with Bridge to Leadership.
yeah. So when I graduated from Tennessee State in 2017, 2016, I moved back home to Houston, a H-Town. um, And so I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what those next steps were going to look like. So I found out that there was this conference going on, and it was a diversity conference. And so I went to the conference and went to volunteer. And so I was so amazed by the conference and all the senior level executives that were there. I was like, man, I want to do something like this. This is great. So I reached out to the founder of the nonprofit that put the conference together. And I asked him, hey, can I come and support what you guys are doing? So we meet each other, we have lunch, and he offered me a job. He offered me a job to come and work at his nonprofit. And it's one of those things, Maximilian. By the way, if you guys hear me mention God a lot, I'm a believer in Christ. So I'm a kind of reference God a lot. But I didn't know what God was doing while I was there. I didn't really understand it. And so I'm working at this nonprofit, and the guy's paying me $13 an hour. And so I'm like, come on, man, this is pennies. Look at Iverson. Look at his face. It's $13 an hour. Come on, man. Come on. What's happening here? But while I was there, I was soaking up so much information and I was learning. The founder really took me under his wing and taught me everything about running a nonprofit. And so got to the point where I was like, man, I want to do something like this, but for my peers. I'm 20, 22 at the time. And so I'm like, I want to do something to help my friends. And I'm coming to this event and there's all these senior level executives, but I want to find a way to bridge that gap a little bit, to bring in the young people to connect with the senior level people. And that's where the name came from, which is Bridge to Leadership. That's where it all started, just with a vision, that's with giving a little bit of exposure and wanting to do something to help my friends. So we would do a lot of different programs in Houston, where I'm from. And then I moved to Atlanta 2020 and the pandemic hit. So we all know how that was. 2022, I was like, man, I got to keep the nonprofit work going. Let's keep doing it. So I hosted the Atlanta HBCU Mentorship Breakfast in 2022. Our very first year, we had 500 people show up. And I said, oh, wow, we're on to something here. So I've been doing it for the last few years. We raise corporate sponsors. The whole idea is to bring in all these Black students from across the country and connect them with jobs and mentors. And that's what the organization is all about. We're building this community of mentorship.
I love that, and I think building community is so valuable these days. And I think Lehman College is, I'm not sure what the percentages are, but a lot of African American students and Hispanic students.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so wonderful work. Tell me a little bit about you're starting out $13 an hour. Like what the hell is this, right? But what I try to tell a student in the beginning, you're not going to be making money, right?
No.
Most
No,
people are not going to be making money in the beginning, right?
no.
Unless you're truly brilliant, which by
Right.
definition, most of us are not, right? So it's so important the learnings that's where all the value is.
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought this up. This is a misconception about success. These days, because of social media, specifically Instagram and YouTube, we see what's called influencers, right? And we look at them as though they're a success overnight. And everybody wants to have the following and to do that. But the challenging thing is these influencers can have success, but can they sustain success, right? I'll give you an example. Let's say you're on TikTok, right? You know, everybody know we was on TikTok, but TikTok gets banned in the United States, which we just seen something
Yep.
like that can happen. Well, what happens then when all of your following is on TikTok and you lose it overnight? Then what, right? So what we have to do is understand that when you're trying to achieve success, it's a staircase. It's steps to it, right? Focus on one step at a time. Don't focus on the end goal. It's just like, if you play sports, getting to the championship. Don't focus on the championship. Just focus on making that right next step and believing that God has a plan for your life, which He does. He has a plan for all of our lives, and you're trusting in that plan, right? So when different difficulties come, which they will, listen, if there's anything you can hear, challenges will come.
Yeah.
You're not immune to any challenges. They're going to happen, but you just got to keep at it and keep climbing that staircase, one thing at a time. Keep working on yourself, finding ways to build value to yourself, and then eventually you can get to the point to where you've accomplished all your goals, and then there'll come new goals. You'll
Yeah.
keep going, but I'm glad you brought that up because while I was making $13 an hour, I knew that this wasn't it for me. And I knew that God had the plan. I didn't know what that plan looked like. I didn't even have Atlanta in the cards. That wasn't even a part of what I saw for myself. And so you just got to trust the process.
So you've got some very impressive recruiting credentials. You worked as a university recruiter in a couple of very impressive software development companies. Tell me a little bit about your work as a university recruiter and what advice would you give to current university students that are looking to find that first internship or entry level role?
Yeah, no, great question. Just like he said, I've been a university recruiter for the past 6 years. The last few companies were tech companies, really well-known tech companies, and prior to that was an insurance company that we all know. You may have heard the song "Liberty, Liberty, Liberty." Oh, yeah, okay. Look, they're laughing. They're laughing.
That's going to be the
Okay.
clip that we promote. Carlos Mavins Jr.,
Yeah.
singer.
Right. And so I love it. I love it because I put myself in the shoes of being a student again. This is a journey that I've walked before. Like I mentioned, I graduated. I didn't know what those next steps were. So I love being a university recruiter because it gives me the opportunity to reach back and pour into those students and give them access to different job opportunities. I love it. I'm always going for the underdog. That's what I love to do. I love bringing in diverse talent. Obviously, if people that are watching this, I'm black, and oh, me and Max, we're related. By the way, we're twins. We're twins.
Yes.
But so I love going for the underdog. I love going for that HBCU student or someone from that community college or someone from a smaller university and background that just may not have access like some of the people from the large Ivy League type of schools. But I'm here to answer any questions that you guys may have about landing that first job, about transitioning after college, because this is literally what I do. I hire college students, and that's what I've been doing the last few years, and I love it.
All right. Any questions from the audience?
Yeah, I do.
All right,
Um,
Delgardo.
we know that sometimes some of these career fairs can be really engaging and really nervous in terms of like the number of people. So, what are some of the standout traits or qualities you look for in students that really make you say, hey, this person may actually be someone who I can invest my time into?
All right, this is a good question. So when you come to a career fair, and let's say there are 1,000 people, I'm just coming up with a number, right? You want to. This is my secret sauce. You ready? You ready? I'm tell you the sauce.
All right.
So this is what I do. I scout the scene and I find what companies I'm highly interested in. Right? Let's say you see Amazon over here. I'm just throwing a name out there. And you're really interested in Amazon. This is your dream company. This is where you really want to work. So this is what I would do. I go up to them, right? I introduce myself. I say, "Hello, I'm Delgado. I'm a junior and undergraduate. I study computer science." Da 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 da. We exchange information. You let them know, "Hey, I'm interested in blank." So already do your research and know what job opportunity is available. So I hate when students come up to me and they say, "Oh, y'all hiring?" Yeah, we hiring. Why you think we here? So if you take that extra step and you've done the research already and you come to me and you say, "Hey, I'm here looking for the software engineering internship that y'all have for 2025." Right? I'm hip to it. Give me your information. We exchange information, LinkedIn, email, whatever it is. Now here's my secret sauce, Delgado. You ready? I got two things. This is good what I'm about to say. This is good. What I do when I meet someone, I say, "Hey man, can we get a picture?" Oh, yeah, yeah, oh yeah, sure. We take a little selfie, right? You go on about your day. You talking to X, Y, and Z person, and what you do is now this is where the most important thing is. It's not really about the career fair. It's about the follow up.
Yes,
Because
agree.
I can confidently say about 98% of the students will never follow up. Never. 98%. I can confidently say that. And so the ones that do, you stand out. So when it's time for you to follow up, you shoot me an email. "Hey, I'm and then you tag that photo. Ah, now I got some face recognition. Now I'm like, "Oh yeah, I remember that. That's my dude. He from Kansas. He got two dogs. I remember that. You know?" And that's how you do it. When you go to these big career fairs, don't get intimidated. Be strategic. Be smart. Be subtle. Find a way that you can be remembered. You know?
Yes.
And
That's
that's
the
Yeah.
key word.
Just leaving a
Memorable.
great impression, right?
that's it. That's
Got
it.
it. Got it.
That's it.
Thank you.
So I guess this kind of question is related to the previous one. What are some pet peeves that you will find from students that are you talking to you, like trying to recruit you, even outside of a career fair? Say like they're trying to hit you up on LinkedIn or something like that.
All right. Good question. When you're shooting somebody a message on LinkedIn, keep your message short. Keep it short. I wish I can legally I'm not able to do this, but I wish I could pull up some messages. Oh my gosh, Iverson. Oh Lord. People send me 5 or 6 paragraphs. This attachment, this link. Click on my resume. I don't need all of that. 3 sentences. Hey, how you doing? Who are you? What do you want? And how can we follow up? Just keep it short.
Yeah.
Who are you? What do you do? What do you want? How can we follow up?
Yeah. Everyone gets hit with too much information these days,
Oh Lord. Oh,
especially the recruiters.
so
So,
now
yeah.
Iverson, it's to the point to where when I see those messages, I delete them. I can't. I can't. Literally, I can go to an event and get 200 messages a day. I can't. I can't. This is crazy. You expect me to literally read all of this and then click on the attachment? So anyway, I'm sorry, I got a little passionate there. Let me
No, it's all good. It makes
No,
sense.
well, that's part of the reason why I invite university recruiters onto the podcast so our students can see it from the other side of the table,
right.
right? Um, I can't agree with you more. Be memorable, right? Be memorable because a lot of these career fairs, they're like meat markets, right? Jam like 1,000 students into a tiny cramped room,
Right.
and it's like you got to be memorable because 2 weeks later, they're like, okay, I remember that guy who told me that joke, or who
Yeah.
took the
Yes.
selfie with me, or who
Yes.
was wearing the bow tie, right?
Yes.
It's not even about your resume or merit, really.
No. No.
It's more
No.
about being memorable, for sure. I got a question from Aaliyah. From your history, I saw you went to school for engineering, and now you are a university recruiter. Where did you discover this passion and shift your attention towards this direction? How have you found the transition to be?
Great question. So I got to back up to high school. I went to a high school in Houston, Texas, and I was the guy. I was in the band. So where we come from, culturally, band is a really big deal. If you've ever seen the movie Drumline or you know anything about marching bands, dancing, it's a big deal. Well, I was the drum major. So I'm leading the band. I'm in the front of the band dancing and all that type of stuff. So I was my senior year, I was a drum major. I graduated number 6 out of my high school class because I'm really good at science and math. It just comes natural for me. And I was a student ambassador from the high school. And I also won about $80,000 of outside scholarships. So we're not talking about university. We're talking outside community scholarships. So I'm at the top of my game, Max. I'm killing it. So I get to college, and my brother, who passed away, he's an engineer. So we've always been in competition with each other. So he's an engineer making good money. So I said, well, I don't know what I want to do, so I'm gonna do engineering. I'm pretty good at math. I get to Texas A&M, whoop, and I do engineering, but I found myself drowning. I was miserable. I was doing all the things in college that you shouldn't be doing, the social life, the partying, the girls, all that type of stuff. Gained about 60 pounds. I was just losing myself. I was drowning because I was chasing after this engineering thing for the money. It's not nothing I really love. So, my 4th year of college, I know everybody laughs when I say this. 4th year of college, I decided to transfer. And I didn't know what I wanted to do or where I wanted to go. But I figured that maybe I should do this communication stuff because I'm pretty good at talking and I love telling stories. So I said, man, let me find a good university that has communications program. So I came across Tennessee State and a few others. And then I noticed, well, where did Oprah go to school? Because I'm a big Oprah fan, just like everybody, right? Love Oprah. She went to Tennessee State. So I said, okay. Got accepted, went to Tennessee State, had a great time, started my career doing broadcast journalism. I interviewed everybody that you could think of, from Hillary Clinton to Nicki Minaj and all these cool people. Got invited to Prince's house. Rest in peace. I love it. That's another story for another day. So anyway, I did all those things, but I hit a glass ceiling and I said, I want to do more. I want to do more. I want to share more in the community. So I knew that journalism wasn't going to be it for me. After doing that for a few years, graduating, and which led me to the nonprofit story that I told before, and the rest is history. So engineering and tech is always in my back pocket just because it's kind of how I started.
Yeah, that's an interesting story that you shared because when I was coming up, I actually just had a student reach out to me who's interested in investment banking.
Mm.
And for me, because I grew up here in New York, right? And New York, there's a thriving tech scene here, but also investment banking and finance is still
Wall
very,
Street, all of
yeah.
that.
And
Yeah.
all the brightest minds get pushed that way, right?
Yes.
If you even show any uh, aptitude for science and math, right? You get pushed that way.
Wow.
The reality is investment banking, and I've worked in tech also, it's a grind.
Oh yes.
It's long hours,
Oh
right?
yes.
And it's not for everyone.
No.
And if I always caution students, there's got to be more than just the money because you're going to be competing with, I mean, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people when you consider now that, we're in a remote work world where some companies recruit from anywhere, right? They'll recruit from South America, they'll recruit from India. Um, it's a tricky thing. You have to try it out and figure it out. But I
Yeah,
always say,
I feel like whenever you're chasing after the money, you'll never be satisfied.
agreed.
It says that the lust for money is the root of all evil. There's a lust, there's a hunger for more and more of it. There's never going to be this sense of fulfillment that you have on the inside. And the cool thing is, a lot of Gen Z students that I know, that I talk to, that I connect with, they're all about purpose. They're all about social impact. They want to do meaningful work. Those days of getting a job at a company and working there for 30, 40 years to retire, those days are over.
Yep.
Students are like, I want to work somewhere that I love the company, that I want to make impact. Um, and so chasing after the dollar is never the case. You want to do something that you really love, that you care about, that you're passionate about. And here's the thing. If you're watching this and you don't know, let's say you don't really know. You don't know what you're passionate. You don't know. Try things. Try different things, different opportunities. Get out there. The what did they say? The biggest enemy is the inner me. Sometimes you could talk yourself out of doing things. Get out of that. Get out there and try things. And what you'll notice is eventually, you'll just find yourself stumbling upon something that really is what you were meant to do.
Yeah, I agree. You have to try a bunch of different things. And, these days, I think the brightest students, they all want to break into tech. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you just have to realize that what you're getting into, you know? And here's the thing about tech, there's a million different things you can do within tech, right?
Absolutely. That's true.
It
That's true.
doesn't just have to be uh, AI engineering or
That's
software engineering, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We hire finance students, HR students, marketing students, to work in tech. But also, let me be clear, there are a lot of really lucrative industries that are out there also. Like I said, working in the insurance industry is booming. Oh my gosh, they're booming. But it's one of them industries that's not that pretty. People think, oh, I don't want to sell insurance. And that's the misconception. There are so many other career opportunities, from tech to finance to, um, you know, uh, marketing, all these different types of roles that you can have working in construction. So don't limit yourself. If you're watching this video, get out there, try things. Everybody can't work at the top tech giants,
Yeah.
Amazon, Apple, Meta, but there are so many other opportunities out there that you could tap into.
You mentioned you're from Houston and you played in the band. I also played saxophone in the marching band.
Okay, okay, yeah.
And I was a dual threat. I played saxophone in the marching band and I was also the quarterback of my high school football team.
So you
So,
must have went to a small school.
yes. Well, yeah, I had to choose and I ended up choosing football and the band director he wasn't happy about that. But the reason I bring this up is we're coming up on the Super Bowl. So,
Oh.
what's your pick for the Super Bowl, Chiefs or Eagles?
I'm rooting for the Eagles. So Jalen Hurts is a Texas boy. Jalen Hurts is right outside of Houston, and he also went to college with my wife. So I'm a huge Jalen Hurts fan. I'm always rooting for the black quarterback. We know Mahomes is black also,
Yes.
but I love Jalen Hurts. Saquon Barkley is an amazing story. We know the story about how he was with the Giants,
Oh,
let him go. They did him dirty, got picked up by the Eagles, and now he's on his way to the Super Bowl. So great story. However, on the other side of the coin, this is Mahomes' time. This is his era. You can't knock greatness when you see it. So they're doing something that we've never seen before in NFL history, which would be winning 3 Super Bowls in a row. We've never seen that. 3 in a row? 1, 2, 3? No. So I want it to be a great game. If he comes out with it, kudos to him. Just another notch on his belt. But personally, I'm rooting for the Eagles. Let's go, Eagles!
All right. Yeah. And as a Giant fan, it has been painful to watch Saquon.
Oh, Lord.
Man. He is so impressive. The first play, 60-yard touchdown run in the NFC Championship game, man. Very impressive. Carlos, we've only got 2 minutes left. Are there any blogs, books, or podcasts that you would recommend any students should read or follow or listen to?
So Jay Shetty, I love Jay Shetty's podcast about living with purpose. My favorite book, recent book, is Will. That's Will Smith's book. It's just such a empowering story. Man, he did a great job. My favorite book of all time, I wish I can grab it, is The Purpose Driven Life by Rick Warren. This is my favorite book of all time. If you've ever asked me this is my favorite book. I read this book in 2013 because I was in search of what my purpose is.
Okay.
So if you're watching this video and you're young and you're trying to figure out, go get that book.
Okay, last question.
Sure.
Public speaking. You are a public speaker. You got 30 seconds. What tips do you have to our students or anyone listening, even if you're already in the work world? How can you become a better public speaker?
Practice. Tell your story. Tap into your own personality. Don't try to emulate anyone else. Just tell your story. We all have a story. And your story doesn't have to be a rags to riches. Oh, I come from a poor background to this. That doesn't have to be your story. Everyone has a story and a message of just who they are. Tap into that and share it with the world.
I love it. Carlos, thank you for coming on the Built in the Bronx podcast. You have a good one.
Anytime, man. Glad to be here. Nice to meet you all. Follow me on Instagram at CMavins. That's CMAVINS. And LinkedIn also, if you have any questions. Nice to connect with you.
Yo, I heard that we hitting that 42nd, let's go. I heard that we hitting that 34th, let's go. I heard that we hitting that 14th, let's go. What? I heard that we hitting that Union Square, let's go. I heard